Today, we're diving into 5 spine-tingling, brain-bending classics you probably haven't seen, or at least haven't revisited with the lights off. These cult treasures are creepy, clever, and sometimes catastrophically unhinged. Stick around until number 1, because that final pick is so disturbing it was banned in entire countries. Obsessed with movies so bizarre they make David Lynch raise an eyebrow? Villains who overact like their paycheck depends on eyebrow wiggles per minute? Then join the cult community by liking, commenting your most traumatic cinematic memory, and subscribing. In The Two Faces of Dr. Jekyll, Hammer Films flips the classic Stevenson tale on its monstrous head. Dr. Jekyll, a dull, unshaven academic with a charisma of damp wallpaper, transforms not into a grotesque brute but into a slick, charming sociopath named Mr. Hyde, played by Paul Massey with unsettling smugness. Hyde is everything Jekyll isn't: smooth, articulate, and dressed like he belongs in a jazz club run by Satan. Christopher Lee shows up as a degenerate gambler who may or may not be more evil than Hyde, which is saying something since Hyde casually orchestrates a series of emotional implosions like a Victorian gaslighting coach. This is an existential breakdown dressed in velvet. Critics at the time weren't impressed, but hindsight reveals a psychodrama soaked in repression, champagne, and blood.
A cruel, depraved Edward Hyde.
For God's sake, man, don't kill him. Let me alone, Jekyll.
This is Dr. Jekyll, one man with 2 faces and a mind split in two.
Who are you?
Dawn Adams as his shameless wife, unaware that her husband was 2 men.
I deserve nothing better than you.
Christopher Lee as the lover who shared her deception and her danger. Here is the century-old horror classic, filmed as it has never been before.
Before it was a musical, a Broadway hit, or a Rick Moranis movie, The Little Shop of Horrors was a low-budget miracle cooked up in under 72 hours by the patron saint of thrifty filmmaking, Roger Corman. This original version is an anarchic horror comedy about a nebbish florist's assistant, Seymour Krelborn, who accidentally cultivates a plant that drinks blood and won't shut up. The plant, Audrey Jr., is voiced like a Brooklyn bookie and grows every time Seymour commits a little accident. The film is packed with bizarre performances, jittery editing, and a young Jack Nicholson playing a masochistic dental patient who lives for the drill. Yes, that actually happens. Filmed on leftover sets from another movie and reportedly costing less than a used car, it's chaotic, hilarious, and surprisingly disturbing if you think too long about the implications of feeding bodies to a talking fern.
Where a man-eating talking plant gives homicide something to think about.
That plant?
I say, do you follow me?
Yes, master.
You will go out and find me some food.
Yes, master.
What do you call this? Chopped liver?
This one is not for the faint of heart, or anyone still trying to pretend the past was wholesome. Witchfinder General is set during the English Civil War, where Vincent Price plays Matthew Hopkins, a government-sanctioned sadist who profits from paranoia by accusing people of witchcraft and torturing confessions out of them. What makes this film so unnerving isn't just the violence, although it's brutal, especially by 60s standards, but the cold bureaucratic indifference Hopkins brings to the job. He's not cackling or casting spells. He's just filling a power vacuum with iron nails and burning flesh. Price, normally campy and theatrical, gives a terrifyingly restrained performance, trading flamboyant villainy for chilling detachment. Director Michael Reeves was only 24 and tragically died soon after the film's release, but his work here is astonishingly mature. British censors tried to gut the movie, American distributors cut it even more, and yet it still became a grim masterpiece of folk horror and moral decay.
With the tranquility of rural England shattered by civil war, evil was spawned at a time of strife in the land. Pounding the innocent in violence and terror, this evil man showed no mercy in the pursuit and interrogation of his victims. Vincent Price is the Witchfinder General. Lust and greed were his only god. And amidst the horror of the witch hunt, a story of tender young love. But even their innocence is cruelly corrupted by the vile touch of the Witchfinder General.
My motive in coming here was to find the truth.
Ian Ogilvy as Richard Marshall. He stood alone against the forces of devilish destruction. Rupert Davies as John Lowes.
Master Marshall, welcome.
Patrick Wymark as Oliver Cromwell. And introducing Hilary Dwyer as Sarah and Wilfrid Bramble.
And what line of business might you be in?
God's business. Witch-finding.
Witch-finding. Oh, that's nice. That's very nice.
Never has England looked so beautiful, yet been so violent. Man's inhumanity to man portrayed on the screen so vividly that you flinch, so real that you too will fear the Witchfinder General.
Let's get one thing straight. Eyes Without a Face is not just scary, it's beautiful in the way a cracked porcelain doll is beautiful right before it eats your soul. This French horror film combines poetic cinematography with grotesque medical horror, and it somehow works. The story follows a respected surgeon who's not so secretly kidnapping young women in an effort to graft their faces onto his disfigured daughter. Yep, he's basically a Frankenstein with a diploma and a disturbingly calm voice. His assistant helps him lure victims in with all the cheeriness of a deranged travel agent. The film's most notorious scene, an extended face removal sequence, reportedly made audiences faint at the time, and it's still hard to watch today without clenching every muscle in your body. Yet the movie remains lyrical, with haunting images of the daughter wandering her father's mansion in an eerie white mask, looking like a living ghost. This is horror as melancholy art, and it's unforgettable. If Aleister Crowley designed a theme park, it might look like this movie. The Devil Rides Out is a British occult thriller that moves like a delirium on horseback. Christopher Lee, who usually played the villain, is cast here as the dashing hero, a nobleman with a black belt in Satan fighting. When his friend's son gets involved with a group of well-dressed Satanists, as one does in 1960s England, he dives headfirst into a world of pentagrams, powdered wigs, and demonic summoning circles. The main villain is played by Charles Gray with all the subtlety of a Bond villain who's also your terrifying uncle from the Masonic Lodge. The film doesn't waste time. It throws you straight into rituals, astral projections, and one of the weirdest protective circles ever committed to film. Despite the low budget, it's visually compelling, with Hammer Film's signature color-drenched style and an atmosphere thick enough to cut with a sacrificial dagger. What truly makes it iconic is that it takes Satanism absolutely seriously, in the most entertainingly bonkers way possible.
You will hear his evil. You will feel his evil. You will see his evil. The Devil Rides Out, from bestseller author Dennis Wheatley's famous novel, fills the screen with a special kind of visual terror. This is McCarter, the devil's chief disciple.
Your will is leaving you, slipping away.
Eyes, once filled with love, are consumed with fear. For Tanith is now promise to the devil.
Yes.
Christopher Lee as de Richelieu, who knows he must fight the devil's power to the death.
My God.
My God.
The goat of Mentis. The devil himself.
on one night of 1 year. Should these people live in mortal fear?
Rex, do you believe in evil? As an idea. Do you believe in the power of darkness? As a superstition.
From botched surgeries to demonic rituals, these horror classics prove that the 60s were a wild time to be afraid. Did your personal nightmare not make the list? Let us know in the comments what you think should have been included. Maybe Carnival of Souls, Black Sunday, or some sinister deep cut we've never heard of. And if you're ready for more sleepless nights, don't forget to check out our horror movie playlists right here on the channel. Trust us, you'll never look at a flower shop or a face mask the same way again.